If you voted for Donald Trump in 2016, but won't in 2020, what changed your mind? His general response to COVID and sicking federal troops on his own people. One of my friends in high school voted for Trump during our second year of college. He grew up in a conservative household, was brainwashed, and really wanted a Republican court even though he knew Trump was a moron. Then he switched about 2 years later to being totally Democratic. To quote him, he said, "I looked up every issue I cared about and all the facts behind it, and I realized that Republicans weren't on the right side of any arguments." I didn't vote due to my age, but I started getting interested in politics in 2016 when all this happened. I turned 17 in November of 2016. I felt pretty alone in supporting Trump. I was in the very tail end of discontinuing my belief in Christianity at the time, and it felt like all of my friends, my girlfriend at the time, and celebrities, musicians I followed were also against Trump. Since the latter half of 2017, first half of 2018, my values in social issues and politics have changed completely, and I'm extremely left now. Though I was unable to vote and influence the election in any way at the time, I look back at my newfound attention toward politics and premature values as inexcusable, but a sign of growth. A friend of mine recently said to me, "How are you not super conservative?" After I confirmed that my entire family, both immediate and extended, are right-wing Christians, I jokingly replied, "I became an adult and decided that empathy is really cool." Though it was a joke, it really does just come to that sometimes with these issues. I now choose to think about how problems could be solved and why people might have made bad decisions instead of judging people, and I understand the bigotry in many of Trump's statements, policies. TLDR, in 4 years, I grew up a lot 16, 20, and transitioned from pro-Trump to far left. 2016 he ain't Hillary. 2020 he ain't sane. Among many other things, the turning point for me was the Ukraine quid pro quo situation and the related cover-up. Because I was an idiot in 2016. I'm fairly conservative, and Trump has done stuff that I agree with, but a few things have happened over the last 7-10 months that made me change my mind. His treatment of being impeached, treatment of the pandemic, his unprofessional online presence. I do understand that the online presence wasn't good the whole time, but I stopped giving it a pass, and I realized that I'm willing to pay more in taxes if it means more people will have life-saving healthcare and places to live. Many of my friends are still very conservative, and just the sheer lack of caring for people in need is crazy to me. I didn't agree with many of Obama's policies, but I sure miss his professionalism. Okay, as someone who didn't vote for Trump, this whole thread is giving me hope. I'm a big fan of personal growth. We all know more today than we did yesterday. I will be undoubtedly wrong about something I believe today, and once finding the truth will be okay with it. We need to make personal growth and being wrong okay. People are so afraid of saying I was wrong that they never truly grow. Not saying being Republican is wrong, just saying Trump is a weird moment in history, and now we are all having to deal with it. The last 4 years, more specifically, backing out of the Paris Agreement, taunting Iran, acting as if Corona doesn't exist, then failing to do something once it can't be ignored, trying to turn this country into a dictatorship by force, blatantly ignoring the Constitution and citizens' rights on multiple occasions, with the right to assembly only being the most recent example. His childish disposition. His fat f-king face. My political opinions very much lean towards the idea that the government should exist to help, protect, and serve the people, not control them. I felt, and still feel like, that is the opposite of how our government runs. 4 years ago I was a month past 18, and excited to finally have a vote. I can do something, affect change. I can help the world be a better place. I was full of cynicism and hatred for the way the world worked. I wanted to do anything to change it. At 18 years old, and prepared with a Southern public education and the words of my Republican father, I was so sure that electing a businessman, and not a politician, would help. I completely bought into the Trump campaign. I believed everything he said. I was young and dumb and blinded by my anger at the world, and he was going to fix it. So I went with my dad and voted for my first time with no doubt in my mind that I made the right choice. I got my sticker, I took my selfie, and I was proud. Then he won. I was so excited, something was finally going to change. So I waited, and I watched, and had things started to happen. And like everyone around me, I made excuses. We can't expect him to fix everything in one day, and that stuff is all fake. Someone made it up to make him look bad. Then bad things kept happening, and more information came to light, and they kept making excuses for all of it. Then I got busy. I had a kid. I started my career. I was busy, and I didn't have time to pay attention to the news or politics. I have a baby, for God's sakes, that's enough to worry about. Then life calmed down, and I started having time to pay attention to the world around me, and suddenly we were years into his presidency and nothing had changed. The world was not a better place. The things everyone was afraid of, that I laughed off as garbage or impossible, had happened. The things I made excuses for never stopped. Then I kept paying attention, and things kept getting worse, and I had to accept the fact that I was wrong. I made a horrible mistake, and it had hurt a lot of people, but those people were still abstract in my mind. No one I knew had been directly affected by these things he had done yet, not in a major way. Then things kept getting worse, and the pandemic started, and the choices he made started putting millions of people in danger, and a lot of those people were people in my life every day. My mom is extremely high risk, my boyfriend had to get tested, my kids are at risk, and the feeling got worse. I was put in the position to understand just how bad things has done have hurt people. I regret voting for him. I regret that it took me having to experience the negative effects firsthand to fully understand how badly I messed up. I wish I could take it back every time I'm reminded Trump was elected in part because of me. I will not vote for him in 2020. I don't know who I will vote for yet, but I'm going to make sure I'm absolutely as educated on all the candidates as I can be, and I'm going to try again. I'm going to make a choice I'm proud of, and hope like hell I'm right this time. In the meantime, I have spent as much time as I can learning about all the things I thought were garbage in the past, and doing my very best to tell everyone I possibly can that they need to listen. Eater, holy crap, this blew up. First, sorry for the wall of text. I wrote this late last night and I'm on mobile, so formatting is hard. I tried to make it a little better by splitting it up. Second, I'm at work right now, so I'm trying my hardest to keep up with reading the comments, but most of that will have to wait another few hours until I'm off. Third, thank you so much for all the awards, my first gold and upvotes. I was shocked last night before I went to bed when this had 2 replied and 10 upvotes, so waking up to this feels kind of like I'm in the Twilight Zone. I want to be clear that I did not post this to get a pat on the back or kudos from internet strangers, though I super appreciate it. I posted this in the hopes that someone would see it and realize that they don't have to keep supporting something they know is wrong just because they openly supported it in the past. So to the few nasty replies about hot I don't deserve the praise, that's fine. That's not why I posted it, but you talking down to me for admitting I was wrong and that I've learned and moved on is the exact reason I posted this, because they're sitting on me for what I supported in the past is the reason so many people will never admit they were wrong. So if you're reading this and you still support Trump because you think you have to, you don't. You can learn from your mistakes and grow. You can help the world change. Your political stance is not a lifetime commitment. Edit #2 holy crap, another gold, thank you.